All right, can y'all hear the mic rustling on the interwebs?
Can
I apologize in advance. I don't know. Headset ain't quite working with me today. All right, today's lesson. Start off with the fun stuff. Rules that will be used for all lessons. Please keep your mic muted except when asking or answering a question. Use the mic to speak. There's a feature on Zoom in the meeting room that is used to raise your hand if you have a question or a statement. Also, here in the assembly, if you have a question or statement, raise your hand and speak into the mic for everyone to hear. All questions and answers and statements must be on the day's topic. You can only answer one time per question or statement. You will have 60 seconds to ask or answer a question. If you pass your 60-second window, your mic will be muted for you. For those that are in the room, you also have 60 seconds to ask or answer a question. Remember, there are mics that will be passed around that are to be used to ask or answer those questions. All statements in the room must be limited to 20 seconds. The microphones need to be used to share with others that may not be able to hear you online. The rules are due to time and the recordings of the lessons. These are live teachings. We must give the moray enough time to complete the lesson. This will be mixed with discussions to help build one another up. Please do not abuse the time. The warning, I want to take the time again to explain that this lesson and the lessons thereafter are not based on any one individual, either in this assembly locally or the assembly abroad. The lessons were not developed by myself alone. Yes, the Father has something, if not all, to do with them. If the lessons at certain points that you feel or believe have something to do with you, then all praise to you. Take that knowledge and apply the solution to your life. Take everything personal, but do not take offense and miss the message that's being given to help solidify your salvation. All right, homework check. Anybody remember they had homework last week? All right, you remembered you had it. Let's see if you did. All right, for those that don't remember, this is the slide we're talking about the Mashiach. Whenever those negative thoughts arise, whenever someone speaks words that don't match what your Creator says about you, you're to respond with the word. So the homework was to find 2 or 3 verses and learn them so they're always in your mind, ready to be spoken. Remember that Yahushua did not flinch, he didn't hesitate, he went straight to the word. So know these 2 or 3 verses so you can do the same. You did that? Why you ain't say nothing when I asked who did their homework? You recall one of them? Into the microphone, if you can. If you can.
Let me teach you and guide you to the way you should go. For I will counsel you. For I will counsel you, and I've got that. It's there, but I can't.
Hey, I got you. The first part is still helpful. Is that Namana? Yeah. What you got, Namana?
Shalom, Ori. The one that I remember is when I'm going through stressful situations is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Messiah who strengthens me. And also 1 Peter 5:7, cast all your worries upon him, for he is concerned about you.
Okay, that can work.
I yield.
Yes, go ahead.
There's nothing impossible to you through Messiah, Yahusha. That strengthens me.
Got you. All right, perfect. All right, so let's move on. If you did not do the homework last week, then work on it this week. No, we're not shaming anyone. Just encourage them to do it again this week. That's all. All right. All right, so today we're going to take a look at Joseph in a particular situation that he found himself in. Did Joseph do his own will or the Father's will? Why or why not? So the story is found in Bereshit 39, 1-6. Joseph had been taken down to Mitzrayim, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard of Mitzrayim, bought him from the Shemalites who had taken him down there. It came to be that Yahuwah was with Joseph, and he became a prosperous man and was in the house of his master, the Mitzrayim. And his master saw that Yahuwah was with him, and that Yahuwah made all he did to prosper in his hand. So Joseph found favor in his eyes and served him, and he appointed him over his house, and gave into his hand all that he had. And it came to be from the time that he appointed him over his house and all that he had, that Yahuwah blessed the Mizraim's house for Joseph's sake. And the blessing of Yahuwah was on all that he had in the house and in the field. And he left in Joseph's hand all that he had, and he did not even know what he had except for the bread which he ate. And Joseph was handsome in form and handsome in appearance. So far, so good, right? Sounds like a good thing. He's handsome in appearance. So, Joseph had free reign to do whatever he pleased, right? This guy's not concerned about nothing. As long as I eat every day, I'm good. Joseph got the rest, right? Nobody's checking up on him, and he had his master's full trust. All right. And he left in Joseph's hand all that he had. He didn't know what he had except for the bread which he ate. And Joseph was handsome in form and handsome in appearance. And after these events, it came to be that his master's wife lifted up her eyes to Joseph and said, "Lie with me." But he refused and said to his master's wife, "Look, my master does not know what is with me in the house, and he has given into my hand all that he has. No one is greater in his house than I am, and he has not withheld whatever from me but you, because you are his wife. And how shall I do this great evil and sin against Elohim?" So, who was Joseph most afraid of sinning against? Elohim. But what? It was Elohim. They were so excited to say they forgot to turn the mic on. No big deal. For this time. All right. Stop with the shaming. All right. So again, how shall I do this great evil and sin against Elohim, right? The sin was not against his master, but it was against Elohim. Let's look at Matthew 10:28. It says, "Do not fear those who kill the body, but are unable to kill the being." His master could have easily killed him, correct? But that's not what he was afraid of. Rather, fear him who is able to destroy both being and body in Gehenna, all right? So he refused and said to his master's wife, "Look, my master does not know what is with me in the house. He has given into me my hand all that he has. No one is greater in this house than I am. He's withheld whatever from me but you, because you are his wife." So he explained to her why he could not be with her. He tries to let her down easily. Look, it's not you, it's me, right? There's nothing wrong with you. She could just gracefully bow out at this point. Just take her L and move on, right? You think that's what she did? No. she bowed out at the moment. All right. So Joseph made a conscious decision to avoid the sin. He actually could reason his way through. It wasn't just like, "Nah, you're not my type." Otherwise, it was like, "No, this is what I'm going to do, and this is the reason why. I fear the Most High." And it came to be, as she spoke to Joseph day by day, that he did not listen to her, to lie with her, to be with her. Day by day by day. So she just shot her shot once, and she just kept on going, right? Day by day by day. She was trying, boy. She was trying. But it came to be on a certain day when Joseph went into the house to do his work, and none of the men of the house was inside. So again, the opportunity's right there, right? Somebody in the room said she set it up that way. That wasn't no fluke. But that she caught him by his garment, saying, "Lie with me." But he left his garment in her hand and fled and ran outside.
There's been one string that hold that thing together. Must have been a roll. Yeah, different tunic.
All the side commentary is funny this week.
The whole thing just came off.
So the tempter returns, and again, he's in that same position. Nobody really would know what's going on. So what's stopping him? That's an open question. The temptress, she came back to try to tempt him again. He's also in a situation where he could have done whatever. Nobody would have known had he slipped up. But yet he did not slip up. Why? Yeah, I got a hand up in the back.
Spirit of Elohim and wanting to be set apart.
Okay. I saw you grab the mic. Okay. She got the answer. All right. So, another question. This time, does he admonish her or take the time to talk her out of it? None is like letting her down easy this time. It's not me, it's you. You know, you can try it 17 times. Don't let there be an 18th. None, he didn't do none of that, right? All right, so this time, the time for talking is over, right? I see a whole lot of backward side conversation. All right. You want to share with us? That's all good.
With her, it was a constant. She just saw what she wanted, and no matter what he said or how he said it, she gonna go after him anyway. In her heart, she was sin.
Now, let's continue with that. How many times have we found ourselves resisting temptation? The first time. But then the temptation comes back again, and again, and again, and again. Let me ask you this, and let's be honest. Is it always easy to avoid temptation? The second, the third, the fourth, the 17th, 18th time, regardless of what that temptation was. Take it out of this context. Right now, we know the context of this one, but we're tempted in various other ways, right? What are some other ways we find ourselves tempted? Tempted to not talk into the microphone. You all failed that one. Go ahead, sis.
You could be tempted with violence.
You can be. You can be. You can be. Sometimes. Now, sometimes people do get on your nerves repeatedly, and some of us have a hard time holding our temper. You know, I let it go the first time. This time I didn't react. The next time it may not be the same way. What are other ways we might find ourselves tempted in the room?
We get tempted to lie.
Tempted to lie? So is it that we just lie out of habit over and over again? Or do we find ourselves lying about the same thing in the same situations?
Trying to protect yourself, right? Most times.
Trying to protect yourself, right? Hold on, I'm gonna come to the non-mono. What you got, sis?
Shalom, Maury. Sometimes it can be like jumping to conclusions and assuming things before we know the full story.
Okay, I like that one. That's when people fall into all the time. But are we thinking about it as a temptation at the time? We just kind of find ourselves doing it, right? We're not making that conscious decision like, oh, snap, I probably shouldn't do that. I probably should get in the habit doing what the word tells me to do about it, all right? So whose will are we doing? Ours or his? In that case, we're usually doing our own will, right? But not after today, because after today, because sis brought it up, it's conscious. We're conscious of it now. Go ahead, Sharad.
So we can be tempted by our past, things of our past.
Explain,
Okay, say for instance, like
please.
we was alcoholics and stuff like that. And we in this walk, and we're not allowed to be alcoholics in this walk. We are allowed to be sober-minded. And so we can get a hit of wine, but not drink a whole bottle of wine. Just get delivered and drunk.
So some of us find ourselves battling things that we used to be tempted with in the past, and it comes up to us again. All right. Eliyahu, what you got?
Shalom. You could be tempted to steal.
Tempted to steal? Let's go with that again. Do you find yourself tempted to steal in various situations, or do you find yourself with the same opportunity over and over again? Or
Same opportunity.
Or are you just a stealer?
Well, I mean, I've noticed people usually get tempted to steal when they don't have money, or like if it's not from a direct person, like maybe from like a corporation, they feel like less like shame about it or less guilty.
All right, it was your answer. You got anything specific? Like how would you stealing? How would you be stealing from a corporation?
You could go into like Walmart, or you can go into like a store. You could maybe steal like a bag of chips. You could steal like maybe an item you need. I've seen people steal like phone chargers.
All right, so basically, there's some klepto stuff going on, but you're like, it's no big deal. Walmart can afford it, right? Okay, I got you. Travis, in essence.
I was just going to comment on that. Sometimes the temptation can be in that manner can seem a little bit more innocent. Like for example, you go to a store and you notice that they forget to scan something. It's not on the receipt. I've dealt with that sometimes, but I try to take it back and let them know, hey, you didn't scan this. I want to pay for it, so forth and so forth. Or purposefully skipping an item in the self checkout. Yeah.
Hey, I'm saying every employee is not good at their job. I'm not good at self-scanning. You want me to do the job? I'm not good at it. I missed one. It happens. I'm sorry. I apologize.
So remember,
Now sometimes now at Food Line, right? The way they got it set up, mine is here. The other one's on the other side. I heard a beep. I thought that was my beep. I thought I scanned it and it beeped. Something beeped.
so that faint beat,
That's all I'm
you
saying.
realize it was not a real.
I'm
beat.
telling you, we this far apart. We this far apart. I thought that beep was my beep.
Sometimes people that have to clock in, clock out, people that got to put their time in for whatever, to get money for work. That could be something tempting. I could put an extra hour in, 30 minutes, or 2
Nobody
hours.
would know.
You on salary. I ain't got nobody checking my coming in, my going out.
Testing. Oh, I can only go based on myself. I can't go based on anybody else. Okay. But tempted not to, because I assess a lot and I have a tendency to, when someone says something, I assess it and then I speak what I hear, but be tempted not to always speak what I hear, just sometimes just listen and just not say nothing. So yeah, that's something that
Yeah, I got you. You gotta make a conscious decision. Conscious effort. Auntie Albie, you had your hand in the back? I know you good. Uh-oh.
So being in this walk, I have noticed when we get nice looking sisters and nice looking young men come in, they new to the walk, there's a temptation for fornication.
There's a temptation to get to know that person.
You can get to know
You
that
gotta
person
get to
without,
know 'em.
you can get to know him without touching them. Because you
This
touch
is-
them,
this
you got
is-
to have a plan to have that person in your life forever.
This is true. This is true. So people making conscious decisions, not always the right conscious decision. But we're gonna move on. So what should they do instead? All right. That was the wrong answer. This is what you're supposed to do. The time for talking is over. You're supposed to flee. Flee the temptation. Flee the temptation. Your fight or flight is supposed to kick in, right? Am I going to fight this repeated temptation or just remove myself from the situation quickly? Let's stick with that same thing. And you know that every time somebody comes on the scene, you just have to find an interest in this person. Are you going to continue to just stay there? Or should you be like, yeah, somebody else can greet this person. I ain't got to be the one to do it, right? Get yourself out the way, because you know that that's the area where you struggle. All right, so he left his garment in her hand, and he fled and ran outside. So the name of Yahuwah is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe. The rich man's wealth is his strong city, and like a high wall in his own imagination. Before destruction, the heart of a man is haughty, and before esteem is humility. But don't be so proud in trying to fight temptation when you should be running to the strong tower. I got this. It's nothing. I'll be all right. I'll be okay. I can handle this. That's 9 times out of 10 is when you get yourself in trouble, taking on battles that you're not ready to fight.
I'm sorry.
Timothy 6:9-11. But those wishing to be rich fall into trial and snare, and into many foolish and injurious lusts, which plunge men in ruin and destruction. For the love of silver is the root of all kinds of evil. For with some, by longing for it, have strayed from the belief and pierced themselves through with many pains. But you, O man of Elohim, flee from all of this and pursue righteousness, reverence, belief, love, endurance, or meekness. All right? So you're supposed to flee from the things that you don't need, and then you're to pursue or run towards or chase righteousness, reverence, belief, love, endurance, and meekness. All right? Also consider 1 Corinthians. No trial has overtaken you except such as is common to man, and Elohim is trustworthy, who shall not allow you to be tried beyond what you are able, but with the trial shall also make the way of escape, enabling you to bear it. Therefore, my beloved ones, flee from idolatry. Noticing the theme here, right? That's that Greek word I'm not going to try to pronounce. But it means to endure, to bear up under, to stand up under. But oftentimes, we think of bearing as this long, drawn-out process that we got to go through. We're going to bear the temptation. We got to subject ourselves and put ourselves in the same situation because I can fight against it. But that's not what it means. It literally means that he'll give you the strength not to crack under the pressure. Not you have to stand there and be tempted because you got to battle this thing. We're not here to battle stuff. And again, he tells you what to do. Verse 14 tells you to flee. That's how you don't fold. You don't put yourself in the situation in the first place. You don't stand there and try to resist temptation. You flee the temptation. Get out the way. So again, he's going to give you an escape route. Use it. Book out of there as fast as you can. Let's look in Genesis, Bereshit 39:12-20. And she caught him by his garment, saying, lie with me. But again, he left his garment in her hand and fled and ran outside. And it came to be that when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and fled outside, so he did the right thing, right? That she called to the men of her house and spoke to them, saying, see, he has brought me into us a Hebrew to mock us. He came into me to lie with me. And then I cried out with a loud voice. And it came to be when he heard that I lifted my voice and cried out, that he left his garment with me. And he fled and went outside. And she kept his garment with her until his master came home. And she spoke to him these words, saying, the Hebrew servant whom you brought to us came in to see me to mock me. So it came to be as I lifted my voice and cried out, that he left his garment with me and fled outside. And it came to be when his master heard the words which his wife spoke to him, saying, your servant did to me according to these words, that his displeasure burned. Then Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the sovereign's prisoners were confined, and he was there in the prison. So we know the story. Who's telling the truth in this story?
We don't know what Joseph said.
We know for a fact that she's not giving us an accurate description of what happened, right? We also know for a fact that Joseph did not lie with her, and he fled, right? So Joseph did the right thing. He did what he's supposed to do. Something to consider. Can we do the right thing and still end up in a rough spot? Into the microphone and tell me about it. All the time. So we got at least 2 examples. So share with the group. That's y'all on the internet too. I know y'all was out there saying, sure, you absolutely sure can. And that ain't got nothing to say, right? So again, the question is, can we do the right thing and still end up in a tough spot?
I'm gonna do it. Okay. I remember in my when I first started working and everything, when I finally got me a good job with the state, and I had a girlfriend, and she wanted to go out. Y'all won't believe it, but I did go out. And
We saw them old school pictures last week. We know about that.
and I was she wanted to I had told people where I was going. She wanted me to be going with her, and I was tempted to go with her. And I know what kind of person she was. Yes, although she was a friend of mine, what she did sometimes wasn't nice. So I would, like I said, I was in a hard place at the wrong time because I didn't drive. So I just sit. What I did, I made myself comfortable. I sit down and I made myself to not hold a grudge.
He didn't get mad at her.
Hello?
Yeah, you good.
I remember a while back, when I say a while back, it's when I was young. So I went to this,
Long time ago.
but I do have up, but this one is good. I like this one. So I like this one. So I remember me and my sister and a couple of friends, we went to Chinese restaurant, ordered my food, and then I didn't pay for it. I had left, and I didn't think about it. So when I was almost home, and I was like, wait up, I didn't pay for my food. And I was telling everybody, so I'm about to go back and pay for my food. And they looking at me like, no, we ain't not gonna do it. I said, so I went back and I paid for my food. So when I went to pay for my food, I had mentioned it to the guy, and then instead of him, being grateful, he was like, well, give him my money. That kind of attitude. And I was like, wow. And then the friends was like, so you should have never went in the first place.
Right. You were trying to do the right thing and got met with resistance. It's like, why did I even bother coming back here? Go ahead, sis.
Shalom. Okay, I'm going to use this example of my child because she's not here. I'm the type of person, even before I came into assembly, I would just want to see the word work, like what it looks like live, instead of just on paper. I want to see it, be able to sign a scripture that something just happened. So let's take my child, for instance. She ain't here. So I can say it. Yeah, she ain't here. So let's say I go to her with something that she has done. And instead of her receiving it appropriately or whatever, she argues back. And I'm like, I know I went to her the right way. I went to her according to scripture, and she just doesn't receive it the right way. And I'm like, okay, so the next step, a witness. No, forget the witness, she'll just start yelling at me. Okay, my daughters will just start yelling at me. So I'm like, I feel like I've been put in a spot now because I want to yell back at her. And it ended up more of us being upset with each other. Yeah, so.
I think many of us have found ourselves in a situation where we had to confront something because it was the appropriate thing to do, and then it didn't always work out the way we intended it to. Things kind of got escalated or ended off a little bit worse than when it started. But some things you still have to address.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think all of us can probably, be it family members or one another, when we try to resolve a matter, and when we try to resolve that matter, we had one intention. We thought it was going to come out one way, but it winds up putting you in a whole different space or spot because we wasn't expecting that person to be thinking that way.
Right.
And so we now are in a position like we thought, I'm just trying to do what the Father's word said. And by doing what the Father's word say, it angered the person or made them feel a certain type of way, and then you still got to do, what you got to do.
Right. Travis, in essence.
Just to land back off More, I was gonna say that this dynamic kind of comes up, at least with me, I've learned, with honesty when you're trying to be honest. Sometimes being honest is not going to get you this, I don't know, this idealistic reward or even an idealistic perception of the person you're being honest with. Sometimes it's really going to hurt them. But if you know that you need to put this out on the table and it's the right thing to do, then you should be honest because that's what Abba would want you to do. A recent situation that I had was I was collecting benefits and I needed to be honest about my employment situation. So if I had been honest, I would have no longer received those said benefits because of my new employment. And I had to be honest, even though my finances, I would have had to adjust finances, but that was the right thing to do. So sometimes we get in situations where the right thing to do will put us in a rough spot, but you should probably still do it.
Yeah, I like that example because it had a direct impact on your finances, but you still had to be honest and truthful in what you were doing, knowing that who's your provider. So ultimately, Yahuwah is going to make sure that you get what you need. Even if it's uncomfortable for a while, he's not going to let you perish through the situation. I remember, I think at least two, I don't remember the exact details, it's been over 15 years ago. But I was giving somebody a ride, and I went probably 20 miles out of my way. Like I was just intending to go home, and I'm taking this ride, and then I ended up getting a ticket. And I'm like, had I just taken my butt home, I ain't had no ticket. Or, not going 25 over the speed limit. I might have got a ticket. But had I just gone what I wanted to do and not try to be considerate of someone else, I wouldn't have put myself in that tough spot, right? So a lot of times we're trying to do the right thing, but that doesn't mean that it was wrong for me to have done the right thing. Did you had your mic up? Gonna say something earlier?
I think y'all covered it.
Okay. All right, now I'm gonna.
I'll admit it, you're just trying to be like Maury, that's all.
All right, I'm gonna tweak the question a little bit. Can we end up in a rough spot specifically because we did the right thing? With the example of Yosef. He's only in this situation because he did the right thing. Had he messed around and given to this temptation, would he be in jail?
Probably on schedule.
He would not be in jail, right? He had to go through the situation he was in only because he did the right thing. Say again. Add to the conversation.
I'm saying, as we said, it could have been worse if you did what he wanted, did what she wanted to do.
In the long run, it could have been worse, right? But he would have avoided this prison situation for sure. Tungamoa.
Shalom, Maury. Yeah, so when we talk about Joseph here, we don't see at his time a written Torah or anything spoken about that because we see him different from his other brothers, right? His other brothers, right? Because we see him fleeing for fornication. We see here not getting back at his brothers. So what made Joseph different, or was there like a Torah or oral kind of Torah where Joseph was going by, or was that something that he was taught by Jacob? And why did he was able to adhere to that and not his brothers?
We have Schultz in the room saying to read the stories of 12 patriarchs about Yosef, and then go through it. Say.
Oh, you talking about with the Book of Enoch?
No, it's a separate writing.
Reuben.
Okay. Yeah, but I think they mentioned in 12 patriarchs, the Book of Enoch is what they were going by.
No, we'll talk offline about that.
Okay.
Reuben knew what to do, and he did wrong. He still chose wrong. So, like if loving you is wrong, there could be a lesson in that. The difference between Joseph and Reuben. Joseph was upright, and Reuben was not upright in that aspect. So, still a choice that has to be made. It was an opportunity for both of them. One failed, the other prevailed.
Go ahead, Akeem.
All right, think about this. When Abraham went into Mitzrayim, and he was afraid that the men of the Pharaoh was going to take his
wife,
Isha,
right.
right? But when the Pharaoh did take the woman, all of a sudden he's, Mosiah is tormenting him in his dreams about you got this other man's wife. And he's like, man, why did you tell me this was your wife? So there was something there culturally that it was already known that this was not feasible. Either she's got to be a widow or she got to be free, but you can't take another man's wife. That was,
And he also knew the rules of his captivity. He literally said, you can have everything, but you can't have her. So he knew that to do that would have been wrong. He was not been fulfilling his role correctly. Was that Michelle? Go ahead. Go ahead, Aki.
Shalom. Yeah, I'm thinking of a few examples. One that definitely comes to mind for sure, which goes along with what you talk about, fleeing idolatry. In the book of Daniel, right, when Azaryahu, Mishael, my namesake, and Hanayahu, they refused to bow down to the golden image that King Nebuchadnezzar made. They got put in a rough spot, thrown into the furnace of fire, heated up sevenfold. But in that, Yahuwah made a way of escape. He sent a messenger of Yahuwah, delivered them, and that became a witness to not only the people, but to King Nebuchadnezzar himself, to where Yahuwah was esteemed. And he said, anybody that talks bad about their Elohim, got to be killed and their house turned into a dunghill, right? So I think that's a good example there, but it works out in the end because Yahuwah is faithful, but he does try the righteous. But his being shall hate the wrong, and the one who loves violence, I yield.
Toraki. I mean, there's no guarantee that just because we do the right thing, it's going to be all roses for us, right? All right, so do we do the right thing because of the end result? If I do the right thing, I know how it's going to work in my favor. Is that the cause of us doing the right thing? Oh, I see some grumbled up faces. Or do we do what's right simply because it's the right thing to do? Do we take a posture that I'm not in it for the reward? Though a reward could come, that's not my motivation, right? I'm only concerned with pleasing my Father, and then everything else is a bonus. So if we start off with that posture, we'll ultimately end up in the right place. So it's a posture that says, I'm going to do right simply because it's the right thing to do, and then I'll just let the chips fall where they may, right? See a gruntled up face, though. I want to know what's on your mind. Your face is grumpled up. So there's thoughts that go behind the face. I want to know the thoughts.
Hopefully I don't go too far with this thought. Simply because it's the right thing to do. If we are striving to do what is right, I should say, striving on the path that the word is inside of our hearts, that it becomes a part of us to the point where we are living it out, that if it is the right thing to do because it's the Father's word, that we will do it because we are his children. He is our Father. When I teach my children what to do, I expect that they're my children, that they're going to do it and not do what another mother taught them to do. So they're going to literally simply do what's right because they know that it's inside of them, it's a part of them, it's a part of their makeup, their thought. So it is the right thing to do. It's just a part of it.
No, you too. You too. All right. So again, the reason why we're doing the right thing is because it's the right thing to do when we want to please our Father. Let's look at Matthew 19, 27 and 29. Because Kepha answered him, saying, see, we have left all and followed you. What then shall we have? Yahushua said to them, truly, truly, I say to you, when the Son of Adam sits on the throne of his esteem, you who have followed me in the rebirth shall also sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Everyone who has left houses, or brothers, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands for my name's sake shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. So whenever we choose to do right for his sake, whatever we're going to lose, we're going to gain even more, right? So we can't operate out of fear of loss or lack or anything like that. There's things that we got to let go of, and we got to let go. I mean, if me doing the right thing is going to hurt your feelings, and get a Band-Aid or some aspirin because your feelings about to be hurt. Like, I don't know what to tell you, right? Eventually, we can't please everybody. We're going to lose some relationships. We're going to lose some opportunities. But at the end, did we really lose? No, because he's gonna give us what we need. Luke 9:23-25. He said to them all, if anyone wishes to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his stake daily and follow me. For whoever wishes to save his life shall lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake shall save it. For what is a man profit if he gains the world and is himself destroyed or lost? But again, when he says loses his life, he's not talking about dying all the time, right? But it's also the way that you live, the plans that you had for your life, the way you thought it was going to go, the life that you were planning and desiring. It could be your lust, it could be your desires, it could be your plans. I'm going to do this. I'm going to take that job in San Francisco. I need you in Ohio, some random town you never heard of before. You got to take your butt to Ohio. Your plans don't matter. His plans do. You have to give up what your plan was, your life, for him. But he's not going to let you just suffer for that, right?
That's how you end up in Turkey.
That's how you end up in Turkey. There's other ways you can end up in Turkey, but. All right. Back to Genesis 39:21-23. Now Joseph is in jail, right? Yahuwah was with Joseph and extended loving commitment to him, and he gave him favor in the eyes of the prison warden, kind of like he had favor in the eyes of his master, right? And the prison warden gave into the hand of Joseph all the prisoners who were in the prison, and whatever was done, there was his doing. The prison warden did not look into any point that was under Joseph's hand because Yahuwah was with him, and whatever he did, Yahuwah made it prosper. It's the exact setup as he had in his master's house. So let me ask you that. Situation, Joseph keeps finding himself in these situations with all this favor and everything he puts his hand to prospers. Is that for Joseph's sake? Might be for the father's sake, right? Okay. Let's look at Romans 8:37-39. But in all this we are more than overcomers through him who loved us. For I am persuaded that neither death, nor life, nor messengers, nor principalities, nor powers, neither the present nor the future, nor height nor depth, nor any other creature shall be able to separate us from the love of Elohim, which is in Mashiach Yahushua, our master. So nothing can separate us. And we see Yahuwah was with him, even in a place like prison. He's not going to leave you or forsake you. So even in jail, he kept the same status because Yahuwah never left him. He knew he was there unjustly. Yahuwah knows how he got there, right? But most importantly, he knew why he allowed him to get there.
Stealing and robbing.
He wasn't in prison for stealing and robbing and killing.
Yeah,
Right?
breaking entry and all that kind of stuff.
All right, let's continue on in Bereshit 41:12-16, and then the verses that follow. And there was with us a Hebrew youth, a servant of the captain of the guard. We were related to him, and he interpreted our dreams for us. Now they're telling the story of what happened while he was in the prison. To each man he interpreted according to his own dream. And it came to be as he interpreted for us, so it came to be. He restored me to my office, and he hanged him. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they hurriedly brought him out of the dungeon, and he shaved and changed his garments and came to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, I have dreamed a dream, and there's no one to interpret it. Now I myself have heard it said of you that you understand a dream to interpret it. So the Pharaoh is believing in who to interpret? He's believing in Joseph. Let's see who Joseph is believing in to interpret the dream. And Joseph answered Pharaoh, saying, it is not me. Let Elohim answer Pharaoh with peace. And Joseph said to Pharaoh, the dream of Pharaoh is one. Elohim has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. Go to 28. This is the word which I spoke to Pharaoh. Elohim has shown Pharaoh what he is about to do. And the dream was repeated to Pharaoh twice because the word is established by Elohim, and Elohim is hastening to do it. So who's getting the credit? He's also showing him how Elohim works. He gave it to you twice. That's how he establishes things. And the word was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said to his servants, could we find another man like him? What is he like? It's underlined. A man in whom is the spirit of Elohim. So then Pharaoh said to Joseph, since Elohim has shown you all this, there is no one as discerning and wise as you. So who gets the acknowledgement in all this? Elohim. So Yahuwah receives all the credit and all the esteem. So if we know that if we're righteous, we do the right thing, we're going to have an opportunity for Elohim to use us and be esteemed through us, then why should we worry about making a wrong decision or giving the temptation when we know the end result of fleeing the temptation? This is my closing thought. So when we find ourselves tempted, the first thing we have to do is remove ourselves from that situation. Lean not to your own understanding, but always run towards the plan that Yahuwah has for our lives. What does his word tell us to do? In all things, may his will be done. Ask yourself, is what I'm about to do going to please and esteem Yahuwah? Do I trust that whatever I walk away from, Yahuwah will replace with something even greater that gives him esteem? Remember, his plans are better than my plans. I say it, but do I believe it and act accordingly? So again, we want his will to be done in all our situations. And that's all that I have for y'all today. Any questions, thoughts, or comments about the day's topic in the room or on the interwebs? Going once, going twice. My favorite slide. I yield. Oh, wait, we got a hand. I forgot there's a delay. My apologies. Let me unyield. Eliyahu, what you got?
Hey man, you was quick. I was gonna say, so I kind of was thinking about when you guys were talking about the part where, do we do things with the idea that we will be rewarded? I do agree, like, yeah, you do it because it's right. It's the right thing to do. That's like the integrity part. But like, you also are knowing in the back of your mind, like, this does yield reward, because like if you do something right, you're gonna yield a fruit. So like, I was kind of like, I want to ask you about that. Do you guys like agree on that part too? Like, you also know, like, because I'm doing this, there's going to be a reward because it says it in the scripture.
Yeah, we're knowledgeable of it. We understand that that's how it will work, but that's not the reason why. If he didn't give me those rewards, I would still do the right thing because it's the right thing to do and it pleases him. But no, but that doesn't mean that we're not aware that it will probably work out for my good, but that's not the reason why.
Yeah, I got you. So it's like we're not doing it just because, like, oh, if I do this, I know this is going to happen. You're just doing it because, like, I want to please my father, and like, in the byproduct of pleasing the father is going to be he gives you usually a gift or reward.
Right. So let's just go old school. And I know that I'm heading into Wawa and the homeless person asked me for $1. If I give him this $1, he's gonna give me 100 back, right?
Right. That makes sense.
That's
That makes sense.
that's
Like, we're
that's
not
not
doing
what
things
I'm
in that
doing.
aspect, right? Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I'm doing it because money ain't gonna fall out of the sky on this guy. He used me to be a blessing.
Got you. Okay, that makes sense. Toda. I yield.
All right, let us stand and praise the Most High.
All right, our hearts and minds clear. Get them clear. All right. Baruch Hashem Abiyahu Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Torah Rabah, for this lesson that you have brought before us, Yahuwah, helping us to flee temptation, to run away from it. And thank you, Yahuwah, that even when we are put in certain situations, that you will always give us a way to escape, so that we have no excuse. So we praise you, we thank you, we honor you, and like I said before, prior to, let this soak into us. Let us chew on it and meditate on it and to execute it thereof. So thank you for giving us the strength to endure, for helping us to operate in discernment and to see these things coming a mile away, so that we can operate in your word and your way, and we can navigate through the grass thereof, so that we can come out and walk in that path that you tell us is good for our beings. So hallelujah. So we praise you, exalt you, magnify you for the food we're about to receive. Thank you for the hands that prepared it. And we ask for safe travels to and fro for all those that are far and near. In the name of Yahushua, hallelujah, amen.
Maury Kanan, you still online?